Habits and Health, episode 62.
Welcome to the Habits and Health podcast, where we believe creating healthy habits should be easy. Brought to you by an educator and coach for anyone who wants to create a healthier life. Here's your host, Tony Wynyard.
Welcome to another edition of Habits and Health. My guest today, Arthur Taniyelyan. He is Swiss. He is an instructor in various breathing methods such as the Oxygen Advantage, Wim Hof, Breathology. And in this episode, we explore many of those different breathing methodologies and why he went so deep into so many different breathing methods and what he gained from that. So we explore some of that in today's episode. And if you know anyone who would get some value from listening to this, please do share the episode with them. Habits and Health. My guest today, Arthur Taniyelyan.
Exactly.
Wow. That's not an easy name for an English speaker, a native English speaker.
Yeah, but it's okay. Yeah, you did it twice and it's okay. Yeah, sometimes they just block with Tan and that's it. So congrats.
And Arthur, you're in Switzerland?
Exactly, yes. I'm living here in Neuchâtel, yeah.
And are you Swiss?
I am half Swiss, half French, half Armenian. So everything half, yes.
That's many halves.
Yeah.
And we met 4 years ago in Iceland on a Wim Hof expedition.
Oh, yeah.
And we've stayed in touch since then. And I know that at that time you had some expertise around Wim Hof, and we'll talk more about Wim Hof in a minute. But since then, you've gone and researched and become an instructor and a coach in many other breathing methodologies. So would you like to talk about what made you so interested in breath and breathing in the first place?
You know, in Iceland, for me, this was so hard, really, because I remember the first day I was in Iceland, I've cried. And second day too, I've cried. And in my mind, it was mixed because, you know, I've lost my father, and I saw that after a couple of years, it would be okay. But after this breathing session and this group and everything together, every emotions went just out.
Right.
And it was like a reset button, just like this. Right. And I said, hey, what was going on? What happened? Everything was canceled in my mind. And it was 1 month after Iceland. I still was like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And after this, you know, my wife, what happened? My wife is an engineer and she's coming from Lithuania. So we are living in Switzerland, but coming from Lithuania to have a job in Switzerland, it's not easy. And after this Iceland, I was just swimming outside in the lake and I was so happy. And someone came to me and asked me, hey, what are you doing? Wow, great. You are swimming in the cold. And me, yes, I'm so proud. And then she's asking me, and what is doing your wife? And I said, my wife is searching for a job. What kind of job? Engineer. Hey, my man is in a director. He's searching for someone that has an engineer. And I say, wow. And they met together on Friday, on Monday. She just signs a contract. And I was so happy with that I say, hey, I want to thank Wim Hof himself. And I've been to Spain. I've traveled to Spain and Wim Hof summer session. And Wim came to me and he said, hey, you. Yes, you have something. What? You have something. You must do instructor. And I say, what? Me? Instructor? I don't want to be an instructor. What? No. You have to do it. And that's how I began instructor trip. Instructor session. And I said, okay. And everything has changed from the moment I said to him, okay, I will do it from a salesman to instructor and everything what happened. So if I can talk a lot about this, because after I was a salesman, sales director, but in my mind, it was always about Wim Hof Method. Oh, it's so good to help people with Wim Hof Method. And then I've started to do some session with people, and it was just wow, seeing the people all happy and some suffering from deep depression, how they were okay with skin problem, people that has psoriasis or eczema, and I see that it's going better and better and better. And I said, hey, I'm helping people. I love what I'm doing. I'm helping people. This is so good. And the problem is, one day I invited my boss, my director, and I said to him, hey, let's have a try. Let's come with me. I'm doing a weekend session. Come with me. And he's coming to me, and he said, Arthur, I love what you are doing, but you don't have the same eyes when you are working in my company. You have fire in your eyes during the weekend, but it's not the same. And then COVID came, and he said, okay, I'm giving you the chance now. You have time to do what you want, to learn, but go in this way. Go in coaching, because you are made for this. And then, Wim Hof Method came, and someone talked about, he said, hey, there is one thing with oxygen advantage, with Buteyko, Breathology, immersion code, and yes, everything started. So, I'm talking and talking. So perhaps you have one question about this. I just love how it comes, so that's why. Yeah.
Well, let's start from. There'll be many people listening to this who maybe have never heard of Wim Hof, so they don't know what we're talking about. So let's explain. Well, could you explain who is Wim Hof and what is the Wim Hof method?
Of course. Wim Hof Method. Wim Hof is a record man. He's someone that has swim under the ice for more than 50 meters, for example. But if you want to start about Wim Hof was passionate about yoga and so on. And then he met his wife. With his wife, he had 4 children. He was really happy. Everything was fine. But one day, his wife was suffering from depression, and she kissed her children. It was 1 a.m., and then she fell down from the apartment. She killed herself, and Wim was alone with 4 children without any money. And the only thing that helped him is call this brother. He start to go more and more into the lake, frozen lake. Then a combination of breathing techniques and mindset. And this is the 3 pillars of the Wim Hof Method. At the beginning, he was only doing, records to have money. Yes, the man is doing half an hour, 30 minutes in ice. He has money. Then TV are coming to him. Oh yes, look at this man. He's doing records and records. And the people said, you cannot live more than 40 minutes in ice. This was what was written. And then Wim Hof came. And 50 minutes. 1 hour, 1 hour 30, 1 hour 50. And nobody could understand this, how this man is doing this. And they said, yes, this is because he's the man, he's Iceman, But what is interesting, Wim Hof said, I can do more. And people said, what? You can do more? I can do more. I know I can do more. And he's just gone to Radboud in the Netherlands. And they said, test me. I'm here, just test me. And they said, okay, we will put you endotoxin in the body, E. coli, endotoxin. And if I put you, no, not you, but someone else, if I put someone this bacteria, because you're doing the Wim Hof breathing too, you know what I'm talking about. But if you put this endotoxin to someone, he will be ill. And Wim Hof, after 40 minutes, nothing. And they said, how are you doing this? And they said, what I've done, I can do with more people. And they said, okay, let's do a test. So they pick 20 people with Wim Hof and 20 people that has done nothing. Test group. The 20 people that were with Wim Hof, nothing. Everything was good, just a little bit headache. And the other, bad group. They were feeling bad, and this wasn't good. And this was the beginning where science has changed. Yes, we can control our autonomous nervous system at will. And this was the start of the Wim Hof method. And this is just, something incredible how you can manage with your mind, body, and you can stand in ice water. So, it can be a river, it can be with ice, and you stand like this, and you can feel the energy, the power, everything. It's just a great, great method.
So you've been an instructor now for, when did you become an instructor?
Right now it's 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So in that time that you've been instructing people how to do the Wim Hof method, when people first speak to you about this, what are the reasons that you think people want to do this, do the Wim Hof method?
I think at the beginning, I have a lot of people that are coming and then they don't know anything about Wim Hof.
Right.
That is interesting because they just saw a guy in the ice promoting himself and they said, I want to try this. Some people are coming, they think that it is only swimming. We will swim in the cold. And after the session, they are just, wow, what was that? Wow.
Like a drug. It's like a drug.
Yes, exactly, because you have the power of the breathing.
Right.
That is releasing everything, emotion and everything is released. And after you have this session in the cold, and you have dopamine, serotonin, all the good cocktail hormones that are growing and people are just feeling, wow, so great. And so at the beginning, I have a lot of people that are curious, but now this is more and more, it's beginning to be bigger and bigger. And we see some movies, and we'll have next year, I think, too, a movie about Wim Hof. You have the book about Wim Hof, and people are going more and more exposing themselves in the cold. Perhaps due to COVID too, because with COVID, people can't go to swimming pool or something, and they saw, we have the lake, let's go. And but right now, I think it's moving more and more, and people want to search for something. It's fighting about depression. I have a lot of, I can give you this example. My last session, Wim Hof method, I had only people that had either cancer, deep depression, even someone that had heart problem, and he came. It was forbidden for him, but he lied, and he came to my workshop. And after this workshop, all the people was so thankful for what they've learned. And they said, hey, we want to go with you in travel. We want to go more. This is so good, this Wim Hof method.
Wow. So you became a Wim Hof instructor 3 years ago. And then you started to explore Oxygen Advantage and Breathology and Buteyko and so on. So what was the reason why you looked into these other methods? Why do you think you did that?
I think that Oxygen Advantage, I don't remember how it comes. But I just know I've been to Oxygen Advantage. But perhaps I saw your name with Oxygen. I don't know. I remember that I saw in the internet Oxygen Advantage, and I said, hey, let's do it. Why not? And after I saw Buteyko too, and I saw Buteyko, asthmatics, children, and I say, why not? I can learn it. And I've asked one friend that was a Wim Hof instructor too, and I said, hey, Buteyko, can you explain me? I'm not a doctor. Can I do it? And they said, Arthur, if you want to do it, you can do it. Just learn and do the exam. Okay. And I've done Wim Hof Method, but Wim Hof Method, you can do it only with people that are more than 80 years old. You cannot do with the children. You can expose a child in the cold. My son was only 2 years old, and I was with my phone. The lake was frozen, and I'm hearing, papa, poof, and he was in the lake. It was frozen. Okay, 2 years old. Okay, already good on ice bath. It's okay. And after he saw me in the ice, and he said, I want to do it more. Okay, 3 years old, so it's okay, but no breathing techniques. It's forbidden. But with Buteyko, you can do with the children this. And I've had some children that was asthmatic allergic, and they cannot sleep. They were really anxious, and they came to me. And with Buteyko, it was after 3 sessions, it was over. The mother is a doctor.
Right.
And she said, what have you done? What have you done? You see, 7 years old child only with breathing techniques, over. She's feeling good. And after I saw about the Breathology, and Breathology, it's Stig Severinsen, and Stig Severinsen has beaten Wim Hof under the ice. Wim has done something like 50 meters under the ice, and Stig has done 70, and then he has done like 202 meters without breathing not under the ice, but just going. And he's helping people with PTSD. And I said, hey, why not? Why not? Let's see what he's learning. And this is amazing too, because with Wim Hof Method, we are working with the sympathetic system. Sympathetic is when you see a lion, adrenaline is going high, your heart is going deeper, faster. And with Breathology, this is the contrary. We are working with the parasympathetic system. And it's helping, for me, it's helping people that don't want to go in the ice. You have a lot of people, for example, my mother. Okay, I can tell her, please go in the ice. She will never do it because she doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
But with Breathology, I've done with her, and she felt so relaxed. So this is another technique that I'm using, and for me, this is interesting because I'm mixing, all the techniques that I know about Wim Hof Method. I know how I can do with people, but Breathology, Oxygen Advantage, okay, with you, and Breathology for people that are anxious, you can do with sports too, like Oxygen Advantage. It's similar for me. But when you have really stressed people and they don't want to go to the ice, I use Breathology. And they felt just in the evening, for example, so relaxed. And one thing is about Wim Hof Method, we sometimes hearing people telling me, hey, I'm doing the breathing techniques, and after a couple of months, I don't have this retention time because they are looking to the time. I've done 2 minutes without breathing. Wow. Okay. The real Wim Hof Method, don't look at your time. Don't look at the time you are in the water, retention time. No. And it's going slower, and a lower time retention. And with Breathology, you are learning back how to go higher with retention, because this is the contrary of the Wim Hof method. So every single method has its positive way how to use it. I can't tell you this one is better than this one. No.
Right.
This method is good for this kind of people, this method is good for this kind of people, and this method is good for this kind of people. So this is how I'm learning and using the methods.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of the Habits and Health podcast, where we believe that creating healthy habits should be easy. If you know a friend or a loved one who might be interested in learning simple habits to improve their health, then please share this podcast with them. We also invite you to subscribe and to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Now, back to the show.
So might it be that one person comes to you and they have a condition and you do maybe a little bit of Oxygen Advantage and a little bit of Wim Hof on the same person at different times to help that person?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And this is, for example, in the weekend that I'm learning to people, I'm working with the one therapist too, that is Kneipp method. I don't know if you know Kneipp, but this is Kneipp. I just tell you, Kneipp. This was one priest, 100 years before, and he had tuberculosis. Is it okay? Tuberculosis? Yeah.
TB, yeah.
Yes, he had this, but they did not have any pills, medicine in this time. And what has he done? The guy went into the cold. Mm-hmm. And he survived. And he learned these people. Now, in Germany, if you say Kneipp method, mm-hmm. they know it. And in France or in Switzerland or in UK, you see when you say Kneipp, what? Kneipp. Mm. And it's really a good method too. So when I see people, it's a mix really between Kneipp, Oxygen Advantage. I just give, okay, what do you need? Okay, you need this. And we do a little mix of mm-hmm. the method and I'm giving it. It can be sometimes problematic because when you use Wim Hof method, you actually have to do only Wim Hof method.
Right.
This is sometimes problematic with the Wim Hof method, but I tell to people, hey, Wim Hof method is, okay, you have this of Wim Hof method, and I'm just giving a little bit of this for the people. And yeah.
Well, and something I haven't mentioned this on my show before, but I think this will interest you is, so about 7 weeks ago, I moved into a new house with a friend, and my friend has a cat, and I'm allergic to cats. And I've been doing Oxygen Advantage now for, 4 or 5 years, and I used to have asthma. But since I've been doing Oxygen Advantage, I've had no problems with asthma. So when I moved into this house and there was a cat, and I'm also allergic to dust mites. So the first few days, there's boxes everywhere and my asthma is very bad. I'm using my inhaler maybe 4 or 5 times every day. And after a few days, I'm still using my inhaler. So I thought at first maybe it's because of the boxes and the dust. But after a few days, after 1 week, 2 weeks, I'm still using my medication all the time. And it's obvious the cat is causing me the problem. So then I thought, okay, how can I use the knowledge I have around breathing and the knowledge I have around nutrition? How can I use this to desensitize myself to my allergy to cats? So I started a new routine, and I started this on February the 9th. And I did, in the morning, I would do Wim Hof breathing and a cold shower. Then I would do Oxygen Advantage, sort of breath holds. So the Wim Hof was making me into parasympathetic. And then I was doing breath holds to make me more into sympathetic. And then I was doing a low histamine diet. So I was eating much more fresh food, not processed or fermented or canned food. And then in the evening, I was doing more breath holds, but more sort of into the parasympathetic, more oxygen advantage breath holds. Now, I thought when I started this protocol, it would probably take 4 or 5 weeks to get some results. So I started it on Wednesday, February the 9th. That day, I used my inhaler 3 times. The following day, Thursday, I used it once. On Friday, February the 11th, I did not need to use medication at all. And since then, it's now a month, I've used no medication. In 3 days, just by doing the combination of Wim Hof, oxygen advantage, changing my nutrition slightly, I was amazed. Even though I have this knowledge about it, I was amazed at the results. Yeah.
Cool. Really, this is amazing what you are sharing to people. Yeah. This is so important. And thank you to tell this, because my daughter she's 8 years old. But since she's 2 years old, she had eczema on her skin, but deep eczema everywhere on her skin. And I've tested with her some breathing techniques too. Right. And you are talking about nutrition. I said to her, okay, sugar, stop, just stop. And we change. Now we are starting some juice, celery juice, and some other techniques just to slow down her head. And with like a meditation, I asked her, okay, just imagine that your skin is going better. And after a couple of weeks, it was better and better and better and better. So when you are explaining yourself with the dust, with your cat, with this allergy and everything, I just saw myself explaining to my daughter, okay, you have to do like this, and please try. And I hope that the people that will hear this right now, they will say, okay, let's try. I'm not a doctor. So I'm not talking about medication and everything. They can ask first to doctor, can I do it? Okay. After doctor says, okay, please come either to me or to you or to people that can perhaps help. This is so important. And thank you to share this. Yeah.
So I know, so you mentioned before that you were doing that sales job and you talked about your boss, and your boss sounds amazing. That he pushed you to go more into the coaching, more into the breathing methods, and because this is clearly where your passion is. And so before we started recording, you mentioned to me that soon, in a few weeks' time, you're leaving your sales job and you're now going to be coaching people full time. And you also talked about how you're looking at doing maybe more corporate work with people who are working in sales, because these types of people, as you know more than I do, they have so much stress in their lives. So how do you think this will, for the average salesperson who has so much stress, how is it you can help them?
You know, you can be a trader, you can be in sales, you can be a director. When you have too much pressure, it's always breathing, not with the nose, it's always breathing with the mouth. It's like when you see a child and he's afraid, what is doing the child? And when he's happy, what is doing the child? With the nose. And for me, there is a link between emotions and breathing. And with what I know about sales, it's new. I don't know if I will have success or no. I really don't know. It's something really new, and I'm going to call to companies and I say, hey, you are the boss, you are a sales guy. Do you know that you can improve your stress resilience? You can improve your the way you are thinking positive only with the breathing. And then it will help you to do more business because you will be calm. The same way, if you are a trader and you are always with your screen and you have this pressure, if you do the bad decisions, all your money is out, or the company or the bank. And if you just calm your mind with the breathing, and then you make the link with emotions, everything can be better. So I've done the program right now, and I will sell to the companies and to say, okay, this is not a theoretical program, this is only practical. 90% of my program is practical. And if they like it, then I will tell to this company, okay, I'm organizing some travel in Sweden, for example. Come with your people, and this is a real team building. This is not about playing some games and no. This is a real team building, and you will see your colleagues like you never saw your colleague before, because you will be open-minded and here open too, because it's about opening your heart and opening your mind, and with a good breathing session. Let's change the vision of the companies with, let's work, you have to work more and more and always more and pressure and pressure and pressure. No, it's not. Since the COVID, now we can see that people, they don't want this anymore. Even if we have pressure with what we are hearing, with the news, pressure always at the house, everything. No, people say, okay, no, I just want to be calm. And I'm giving some tips for these people to say, okay, pressure down and let's be calm. Emotion, cells, not cells, I don't care. This is just to be yourself. And after, when you are yourself, you can do much more for you. First, the most important person is you at first, and then you can take care of your boss or your wife or your man or your boyfriend, or I don't care, but you are good.
So on these retreats that you're talking about, I imagine let's say if you were doing a retreat in Sweden, it would seem logical that the main reason you're going to Sweden is because of the cold exposure. But if some people in the company do not want to do the cold exposure, maybe they would not want to go to Sweden.
Yeah, you're right. And for me, this is actually not a problem, because I never push people to say, okay, you have the cold, don't go. I have one example. I've done in Sweden. I was in January in Sweden with some people. They came through the COVID, everything. They took the plane and they could be in Sweden. And I've had one big director of a bank. I didn't know it. I just know after the workshop. And at the beginning, he said to me, I don't want to go in the ice. I don't want to do this. I said, okay, no problem. But you try at the beginning what I'm learning to you, and everything what I'm learning, you just take what you want to take.
Right.
You just do what you want to do. I'm giving this, and everything what I'm giving to you, you just take it, what you want.
Right.
And they said, okay. And the guy, I have one special exercise at the end, where I'm asking to people, it's -20 outside. And we have a place in the lake, it's frozen, and they're just going down like cold exposure. And if they can, just putting the head in the ice. And then this guy is coming and I'm telling him, okay, you just go slowly in the ice and you can go out when you want. And I see him breathing. And he was under the ice. And every people around me were, wow, he is doing that. And he was so proud of himself. And yeah, for me, this was the best example. And now he's sending me people to my workshops. Right. So no pressure. This is the baddest thing.
Yeah.
But since the beginning, I'm helping, I don't know, perhaps I've had, since I'm starting, perhaps 1,000 people, let's say, I don't know, perhaps less, but in these 1,000 people, I said, if you don't want to do it, you don't want. But in this 1,000, perhaps just one person did not do the cold exposure because she was too anxious.
Right.
But next time she came again and she did it.
Right. Have there been any people come to you, I know, with COVID, for example?
COVID is a good example because I always say to people, if you feel that you are positive, call me.
Right.
Call me just at the beginning.
Right.
And some people, my neighbor here, called me. And he said it was with Delta. And he said, hey, I have a big problem. I am positive with COVID. And the doctor called me and he said, it's really high, everything with virus. And I have to stay. I have a headache, everything. And I said, hey, keep calm. Just keep calm. In the evening, please don't eat. Please, you stop eating. You drink water and you start to do the Wim Hof breathing. You start to do the Wim Hof breathing with power breathing. This is so advanced mode mixed with fundamentals. And one day after, he calls me back. Yeah, I feel better. I feel slowly. Yes, something is better. 2 days later, everything was okay.
Right.
And I say, oh, one good example. After I've done it again with my sister.
Right.
And my sister was highly at risk. She has endometriosis. She has a lot of big problems with the blood, everything. And I just said, okay, just do the Wim Hof breathing. This. And after she just go to her doctor, she went to her doctor and the doctor said, what have you done? She said, Wim Hof breathing. What? What? Because you have a so good O2 saturation. And with COVID, you can't have this. And the example is last week, I've had COVID. My wife had COVID. And I said, okay, positive. Okay, let's do the breathing. And I've done the breathing and it was okay. And what is really important is for people that have, if it's at the beginning, you can do the Wim Hof method. If not, if it's already over, yes, I'm helping people with Buteyko. Buteyko, just our oxygen advantage. This is the same. Just slow breathing. Just remember how slowly to deep take inhale and exhale slowly. And small retention time. Don't force. And again, just that the nervous system is going to equilibrate again. And it takes more time, but yes, it's helping too. Perhaps you have examples too. But for me, this is the way I'm helping people when they are coming to me about COVID.
And so are you only helping people face-to-face or online as well?
Online as well. This is interesting because it was at the beginning always only face-to-face, but with COVID, now, and I want to give some session, I think, with actually all what we are hearing about Ukraine and so on. I think we have a lot of stressed people again. I thought it was over with COVID, now it will be over. No. And I think I will give again some session or free session, I don't know how, but online to say, hey, Facebook group, from this time to this time, let's do a session. Let's go calm. Because I feel that people are again under pressure.
Right. So, we're changing the subject from breathing. Is there a book that has really moved you in any way, Arthur?
20 years ago, I was reading one book. It was with Dalai Lama, The Art of Happiness.
Right.
And for me, it was at the beginning, it was like, yeah, okay, yeah, your mindset, yeah. But I didn't touch the word. It was like, no feelings, but okay. And 20 years ago, I said, the guy was so right. And he was explaining, you said, okay, just leaving the breathing. But he said, be calm, breathe normally. And he was right too. The Heart of Happiness. So this book, and one another book, yes, I can tell is always Napoleon Hill. He worked a lot 100 years ago, but just focus on the way you want, what you want. And these two books moved me.
So if people want to find out more about you, to work with you, how would they contact you?
I have one website where everything is written, and it's slowly going in every language, French, German, English. And the website is coldcontrol.ch, or you can find my name on Facebook, Arthur Taniyelyan, if you can write it down, or on Instagram too. So website, Facebook, and Instagram.
Fantastic. And finally, do you have a quotation that you like?
When we are speaking right now, this is only the Wim Hof quotation. Just do it. Just do it. This is so important. Yeah, what you are doing, what you are thinking, just do it. And
Wim says it in a slightly different way sometimes, doesn't it?
Yeah. But we were at the beginning. It was only breathe. Just do it and no ego we go. But now it's going slowly and slowly. I don't hear anymore just motherfuckers. He's now 60. He will be 63, I think, this year. And just do it.
Arthur, it's been a real pleasure. So thank you for your time. It's been and sharing your experience and your wisdom. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you too.
Next week is episode 63 with Dawn Cacao, she recently launched a new radical book aimed at readers who want to discover their unique path to lasting weight loss. The book is called The Body Effect, and it's already selling very well on Amazon. So next week we get into what are the root causes of why the body is blocking people's weight loss, and how her approach helps her clients discover what's triggering their cravings and their belly fat, and targeting those imbalances. So we talk about that in next week's episode with Dawn Cacao. If you know anyone who would get some value from some of the information that Arthur shares with us, please do share the episode with them. And I hope you have a great week.
Thanks for tuning in to the Habits and Health Podcast, where we believe creating healthy habits should be easy. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Sign up for email updates and learn about coaching and workshop opportunities at tonywinyard.com. See you next time on the Habits and Health Podcast.